If you want to get motivated, this is an inspiring channeled message from the angels. I'm Ann Tucker, and thanks for coming to my YouTube channel. I am a trance channel, which means that I go into a deep meditative state and I raise my awareness up as high as I can go, and then a little bit higher, and I connect with the angels, and their messages come through me. I write them down and I share them here with you guys on YouTube. And if you want to hear more messages like this one, please don't forget to like this video and subscribe. And I'd love it if you'd share it with anyone you think would be interested. So today's message is all about the ways that we get a little too comfortable in our lives, or the ways in which we're maybe repressing our emotion, holding ourselves back, living our life in a more limited way. And the angels help us to see what that is and what we can do about it. So I'll go ahead and share the message. So, okay, I'm going to go ahead and dig into this message. And I'll start out. So the angels here are speaking directly to you guys. And here's what they say. They say, there are many possibilities for each of you. You are all children of He who we call God, and you are protected in His grace. However, you have impunity with regard to how you choose to live your life, and may find yourself in circumstances you don't desire simply by being curious and experimental, or leaving the route which has paved your way until now. So they're saying here that each of us has lots of different choices in our life, and that we're all protected, that we're all children of God. However, whatever word that you use, that's my word. So please substitute for your word. And they're saying that we get to choose. So basically, we get to plan our life, but that sometimes we make choices or we take turns that don't totally align with what we actually would want. Right? We end up in a circumstance that doesn't actually make us happy. So they say, and we say, you can feel that plunging forward is a risk you wish not to take, that there are consequences to disrupting the flow of your life to be someone new, to break the chain and pattern of your existence. So this whole message is really about this. It's really about this idea of, when do you separate out in your world? When do you kind of break with what's been and try something new? And what are the consequences of that? How do we feel about that? What does that mean for us? And I see you guys joining in. Thanks so much for joining me. I see you. Hey, Rebecca. Hey, Mary. Super good to see you guys. And Patty. Hi, you guys. Okay, so they go on to say, this is scary. Change, we know, inhabits a fearful place in many hearts. You see others descend in their comfort, leave their quality of circumstances to break free and try anew. And do they succeed? Not always. We foresee, you know. But you can be assured that by staying where you are, you confront not the demons that have kept you there. You remain as you are. So here they're really addressing this where this fear comes from, is that we see other people who sort of step out and change their circumstances, right? That maybe you're in a situation where you and all of your friends are in family units, that that you're married, you have children, whatever it is. And then the first person gets divorced and you see their circumstances change dramatically. And they, like, if they had stayed in that situation, which was clearly unhappy, or they wouldn't have left, right? They would remain as they are. And in the process of changing, of stepping out, their life circumstances change dramatically. And when you look at them at the beginning, their life doesn't look so good, right? It looks hard. It looks painful. And we see that from the outside. So they're saying that, do they succeed when they do this? They not always, and they know that we know this, but you can be assured that by staying where you are, you confront not the demons that have kept you there. You remain as you are. And this goes on to be the theme of a lot of what they're saying through this message. And you're saying, is this a meaning? Is it time for us to come out of hiding? Well, a bit, yeah. See how they go on. So they go on to say, confront your will to separate from that existence. Feel in yourself the will to expand and be different than you are, to feel another state of being, to express more of your life, not more of the same, to try and be revealed in the experiment, to try to find more about yourself and how you struggle in these new circumstances, to be challenged in a way that engages your whole being. So this is really what they're talking about. They're saying that even when you're in a safe and cozy space and you're feeling like, oh, this is great, I don't really want to change anything, or change is scary, there's that little piece of you, there's that will inside that is considering other options, or considering new ways that you would stretch yourself. and to be someone different from how you are right now. Like what is it about your environment or yourself that you would change? And they're saying that, to break free. And then they say that it's really about trying another state of being yourself in the world. But if you only try on one hat your whole life, if you only try being this one way, that's one experience. And what they're saying here is that you can try to feel another state of being, to express more of your life, not more of the same, that you can sample different aspects of yourself. Try to be revealed in the experiment. So through the process of putting yourself in new context, you get to see new aspects of yourself. So they go on to say, for why are you here? To be safe, to live a life tranquil and quiet and escape unnoticed, to be delivered back to God unchanged, or to gorge yourself on life, to try the winds of alteration, to be transformed by them, to allow yourself to flow with the seasons and be many seasons of yourself, to feel or to see yourself in all lights, fear, yes, among them. The life buffet. I love that. That's great. Yes, right? The life buffet. Try it all. A little sample of everything. They go on to say, but to be confronted by fear reveals there is nothing to fear at all. All consequences are in the mind only, and your habitude adjusts wherever you are to find your comfort, or your habitude adjusts wherever you are to find comfort in your being, to find peace within yourself. So this is, I think, is a important passage, because really they're saying, yeah, it looks scary. It looks scary when we're standing in our comfortable space and looking at, okay, like, am I really going to mess everything up and step out and do something new and throw away what I've got? And they're not saying throw away your life. And they'll go on to say that later here. They're not saying that you have to, end things that are good in your life. They're saying that you just need to stretch yourself. But that even in doing that, it's when you have to confront fear, the fear is there. They say when you confront the fear, that's the way through the fear, that when you confront it, you find that there isn't any fear at all. There's nothing to fear. And that the consequences are only in your mind, and that you yourself, as you step into it, you adjust. And it's through the process of confronting your fear that you realize that the peace is always inside, right? That you find comfort in being yourself, that it's going through it that gets you there, that helps you to recognize that there's nothing outside that can actually harm you. So you go on to say, you seek comfort external and know not the truth of your own soul. That comfort can be found within and nowhere else. For how can there be peace when internally you choke yourself? And they go on to say, there are tendencies to wish for calm and fortification from the external mind, to find your truth among others, safety in the numbers of yourselves, to rely on one another, to fulfill that portion of need you dare reveal. But this is a handicap to overcome, a reluctance to find peace internal, because it is buried beneath that which you do not wish to see. Look there, we say. So I feel like they're kind of calling us out here. Like, this is like, oh, okay, they're going deep again. They keep going deep, but they're going deep here. And they're saying, really, it is that comfort that can be found within and nowhere else. So it's really that, like, you can only, if you ever heard the phrase, you can only be as happy as your happiest or as your unhappiest child. Like, I think that's true about ourselves. Like, you can only be as happy on the surface as you are in the subconscious, right? Is that how can you be happy externally when inside, they say, when inside you choke yourself, when you're restraining yourself or holding yourself back or limiting yourself, can you truly be happy? Or are you happiest when you're allowing yourself to be in the flow of your own expression, of trying new things, of following your intuition, your guidance, your curiosity, right? Is that where you really find your joy? And they're saying yes. They're saying that we have a tendency to wish for calm, that we find sort of safety in the reinforcement of our experience through all of the people around us, right? That we borrow our opinions from other people. We have sort of like mind, right? We assimilate into a culture of expectation, right? We live according to what we're taught, and we form beliefs that are in alignment with what we see around us. And then we say that we rely on one another to fulfill that portion of need you dare reveal. So we sort of limit what we're asking from life in order to fit within that mold. And they're saying this is a handicap to overcome, a reluctance to find peace internal because it is buried beneath that which you do not wish to see. So they're saying, look there, we say. And that, I think, is really where they're trying to get. They're trying to say that we sometimes find or seek those places of safety because of the fact that it's easier than really facing ourselves, and it's scary to let things come up and to allow them to pass through and to confront our own limitations. You try something new and you might not succeed right away, right? When you see people failing in the world, they're like, oh my gosh, that could be me. And yeah, it could. Right? It can be a challenge, but that's kind of, they're saying that is the pathway to joy, that allowing that yourself to sort of confront the fear, go through it, allowing yourself to look there underneath it, what it is that you're buried, what is it that you're afraid to see, to get in that flow of joy and flow of self-expression. And you're saying, ugh, my mother used to say that she could only be as happy as her least happiest child. Right? I know, it's just one of those, it's an old saying, what can I say? And I don't think that's true for us, right? You can absolutely, we are not tied in our happiness, the happiness of our children, but we do worry about them. But really what I'm trying to say is a comparison between that and yourself. If you are your own child, can you really be happy external if your internal child is unhappy? That's what I'm trying to say. So, and then you say, when internally we choke ourselves. Yeah, I know, right? It's a really visceral metaphor that they chose. So they go on to say, try the life that surrounds you first. Be present and look at yourself. Be in your mind and watch it think. Unveil the emotion it traps below with rational thought, enveloping yourself in more of the same, numbing your sense for joy. So here they're saying you really start like you don't have to go immediately and change everything. Like that's not the goal. They're saying like start where you are right now, and look at yourself in your life and sort of start to be present to your mind and how it may rationalize what's happening in your world in order to suppress emotion. So that's sort of the first step in terms of really confronting this pathway forward. Is really be where you are now and start to allow the emotion and your reaction to really engage in your life as it is currently. So being aware of where you're thinking and using your thought process to trap or bury emotion. And that by doing that, you're allowing yourself to stay within the framework, within the culture, within the thought process, the belief system, whatever it is that numbs your sense for joy. Then they're going on to say, we say joy comes when you delve within and challenge yourself. Live where you are. Be present and see yourself in that. You can trust that life which emanates from you now. Understand yourself as its creator. The hardships and the blessings form within, and then external source creates the life to match. You can find yourself here, but then remove those sources of static, clear those encumbrances. And when you find yourself bled and cleared and true in your own mind, be free of that space. Create a new one, a challenge, a new endeavor. So really they're talking about like dig in, breathe life, like do it, right? They're saying like here that they're where you are right now. Doesn't mean like this is not a thing to say like leave your life now, change everything. That's not what they're saying. They're saying no, trust the life that you're in. Trust the life that you've created is where you need to be right now. But really engage with it at an emotional level and really watch yourself in that life, become present to yourself in that life and see what you're doing. And they're saying the hardships and the blessings that you have inside are showing up in the outside world. So use those for your growth. And then you can find yourself here, they said, but then remove those sources of static, clear those encumbrances. So the things that are bothering you, work through the emotion of that, find where is it in your own self that those are resonating and why, right? And work to clear those things. And then they say, I love how they say this, when you find yourself bled and cleared and true in your own mind, be free of that space. So this is when you really feel like everything's humming, that's the time to start looking at, okay, great, how can I continue to grow, right? Where am I being called? What's new? And you're saying, so when I mentioned time to come out of hiding, is it time to be the person you always have known you can be, but the world hasn't been ready? Yeah, I see it as they're saying that it is time to really to really engage in our living, to question any of the places where we have numbed ourselves. And I think that's it, is where is it that we have accepted patterns and accepted boundaries in our life because it's easy or safe, because it feels comforting to be surrounded within a culture or even within any kind of a belief system. And that can include spiritual beliefs, right? There are maybe are some spiritual beliefs that I mean, because not everything in our field is time tested, right? There may be things that are things that we just take on because they feel safe and they feel comforting, but they're asking us to be willing to look into ourselves and really tune into where is it in our lives that we are. But trust your life, trust that what you've created is there for your benefit. Tune into where are those things that bother you in your life. Where do you feel constricted? Where do you feel limited? Where do you feel frustrated or triggered? Whatever it is, and to work through those. And then they say, once you feel clear of that, once you've bled out, they said, once you clear and bled and true and clean, then at that point you start looking at, okay, great, this is, and it, the way they're talking about this in terms of this continual growth, it reminds me of my own spiritual progress in terms of every time I really master a method, like whether it be, the way I used to do healing or whatever it is, as soon as I have it wired, it changes. Like the minute I'm like, oh God, I'm a pro with this, I can do this anytime. All of a sudden they're like, and here's something new we're doing. And I think that's what they're saying here is like, this is not a place to come and just like sit and hang. They're like, nope, just keep bringing it and keep trying and keep moving into new spaces that challenge you. They go on to say, stretch yourself to be more of who you are. Try to unveil parts of yourself you have missed and not seen. How are you in that other different context? Who can you be when stripped away from yourself? When stripped away from yourself is all that known ritual of life. To be open is to be. To live is to engage, to try, to shuffle and sort and experience new. To be endowed with the curiosity and willingness to heed the call of your own choosing. Where next? Not an adventure of the sort you hear of jumping, airplane jumping and high flying, but of the sort that stirs your soul deeply, that calls forward parts you never knew. Try to give yourself in a new way. Try aspiring to be someone you didn't think you could be. To give, to offer, to try. You can create that life again and be rewarded for your trouble with a deeper understanding of who you are. They go on to say, and I think, by the way, in that past paragraph, one of the important phrases there I think is important is they're saying, who can you be when stripped away from yourself is all that known ritual of life. And I think they're saying that that's part of it to pay attention to is the ritual, ritual is comforting. That when we have patterns or things that we do all the same, that's just our daily way of being. If you find yourself, and especially right now, I can relate to this with COVID and everybody sort of being in our homes more, I have a lot more ritual in my life. I have a lot more things that are the same every day. And they're saying, watch those. Like, where is it that you can stir it up, have new experiences in a way that, not like they say, not the high flying kind, but in the ways that you're saying, who do I want to be? What do I want to do? What I want to experience? How do I experience myself more? It's not about experiencing thrills. It's about experiencing yourself in different contexts. And I think that's the important thing, putting yourself in different contexts, different ways of giving and doing and being, and learning about yourself in the process. They're saying, they go on to say, is it okay to stay in one place, to be safe and cozy in your home and try nothing new? You can. We see it happens often. But what life awaits? Why try to be only in comfort when your very being calls out to be understood? And this happens with more velocity when you are engaging in the practice of living your life full, of being open to transform anew. This we wish for you. We release you from all obligation to try, but we beseech you to have heard our suggestion and consider yourself where your comfort lies. That space of great surrender can birth a new being if you let it. Allow and go with grace. So, another amazing message from them. I think the part here I think is so beautiful is they say, we release you from all obligation to try. So as they're saying this message, or the message is sort of a firebrand message, or like, hey, get out there, do things, try things, be yourself, allow yourself to be in contexts that are scary. But then they say, you know what? There's no pressure here. We release you from all obligation to try. You're not forced to do this. This is not a must. You don't have to. Nobody's saying you have to do anything. You have free will. But they're saying that, but we beseech you, we just ask you to have heard the suggestion, right? Heard our suggestion to consider yourself where your comfort lies. Where is it that you're getting a little soft? Where is it that you're getting really comfortable? And is that comfort, is that of service? Right? Is it a place where by staying in that comfort, you are abandoning parts of yourself or not growing parts of yourself? And really, I think the crossover point is where we get to a place where we are staying in comfort at the sacrifice of ourself, right? Where we are inhibiting parts of ourself in order to stay in comfort. And that's the piece that they're talking about. I think there's nothing wrong with being comfortable. They're not saying that you should be uncomfortable your whole life. They're saying, where is it that you're burying pieces of yourself in order to stay in comfort? And when have you outgrown? What have you outgrown in your life? What is it that you're ready? Where are you ready to try something new? So, anyways, I think it's a really thoughtful message, and I think the big takeaways are like, start where you are, right? Start with your current life. Look at what's bugging you. Look at where you can grow in your current life. Look at the places, like I said, where you're comfortable, where you feel like you're bending yourself to stay where you are. And I think we've all had those experiences where you feel like you're accommodating in a way that you're giving away a piece of yourself, or conforming a piece of yourself to stay in a particular circumstances because it feels too hard to change that circumstance. And they're really pointing at that a lot. They're saying, hey, look at that. That's not in your highest and best interest. So anyways, lots to think about. I think a really powerful message, and I think this is the Tony Robbins of angels has come forward here for us and given us a little kick in the seat. I'll say the seat. That is a nicer way of phrasing it for our UK friends, unless that means something. That probably means underwear or something. What do I know? But so yeah. Anyways, I hope you guys have a great rest of the weekend, and I'll be back again next Friday with another message for you. Thanks so much for spending the morning with me. I'll see you soon. Bye.